at Timber Mesa Fire and Medical and an update as to one of their departments has gotten larger. So that's cool to hear. Check it out right here on the Arizona White Mountains podcast. It's Birdman time for another Arizona White Mountains podcast, Community Shout. We're hanging out here, and it snowed yesterday, so no snow today. And it is spring officially, so let's kick that off with talking about spring things. And I've got springing into action. New people at Timber Mesa.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce J.D. Pepper. He's actually been with us as a firefighter, and prior to fire service, did a lot in law enforcement.
We had you previously on the show talking about the old antique fire truck. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did that. And, of course, Kirk Webb here with Timber Mesa Fire and Medical.
So, yeah, and, so bringing JD has now become the newest member of our fire prevention team.
Okay.
So we now have a total of 3 of us in the office.
That's good to hear.
So, and I think a lot of people don't realize how much is involved in that fire prevention office and all the things that we do. And there's never a dull moment in our schedules for sure. So, and the thing that's been nice with me is now we can kind of split some of the things that I was doing, and it works out great too, because I like doing the schools and do the education side of things, and Pepper kind of doesn't care for that side so much. And I don't care for the other side of doing the inspections and for code enforcement. So I think we're going to make a great team.
Very cool.
But anyway, maybe give some of your life experience and kind of what promoted you to
yeah.
What encouraged you to become a fire prevention specialist?
Well, when I started, in the beginning, when I started with the fire department, it was really my goal was to get into the fire prevention side of it. I did start in the fire service late. I was already retired from law enforcement, did 22 years there. And when you come into the fire department, it's a physical job,
yeah.
and you are working with firefighters that are half your age, and it's pretty tough, especially when you're kind of worn out from the military and then another 22-year career. So, but it was my goal. I knew that the department was growing. I knew that the area is growing. They're going to need people in fire prevention. Fire prevention is the beginning. It's where everything in the fire service starts. Our job really is to tackle community risks, manage those risks, mitigate a lot of the issues that we have, from everything from slips, trips, and falls to our wildland urban interface fires that we have in this area, to structure fires, fire code, just everything. That's our job.
Yeah. So, and it's cool being the older. I can say that, right?
I'm still older than him.
Having more experience, you come in, like you're saying, it's a young person's job, firefighting and stuff like that. But having that experience and understanding what goes on in the realm of just life is better to be applied on the prevention side.
It is, and coming in from the ground level as a firefighter, all the way from brand new firefighter up to, I had 6 years. I'm an acting engineer. I can run the truck and pump the truck on fires. Seeing that side of it, working on the crews, I know what they go through out in the field. I know the things that they encounter in structure fires. So my job, they really dovetail together really well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Well, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've always said that prevention begins with education.
Right.
And even though I mentioned he didn't really care for the education side, but he's actually doing the education component when it comes to fire codes.
Yeah.
And when we're working with businesses and things like that, we're not out there trying to beat them up, or we're not out there to fine them or things like that. We want to provide them the tools that they need to keep their business safe, because at the end of the day, who's liable if something goes wrong? It's that business owner.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I try to get across to the business owners. I'm not out there to close your business. I want a viable economic community.
Right.
I want this place to thrive. I want people to go in and shop in your business, or do those things. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to keep the public safe. Your house is your castle,
Right.
and I understand that. But if you have a business and you're inviting people into it to shop, that's another thing. I've got to look out for their safety as well as your employees' safety
Yeah.
and my fire crew's safety.
But you're also looking out for their safety. I mean, you're really working
Absolutely.
for them. So
So-
you're coming in and giving them the experience of, hey, this needs to be done this way because
Right.
of this, or, like things stacked up next to an electrical panel.
And
People never
I-
understand that.
I
You're
don't.
like,
Well, I do get a lot of that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think people. It's how do I put it? They just don't understand, or they don't realize the litigious society that we live in.
Right.
And should something happen, let's say you're a business and you keep your doors locked. Okay, if you look back at things like the Station nightclub fire.
Right.
Okay, who's going to be on the hook for the manslaughter charges? Who's going to be on the hook for paying those civil fines and those types of things when that happens? You
Right.
know, it's not going to be the fire code official. You know, when I go out and I say, look, I need this done, and you just thumb your nose and turn on me, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I can call insurance companies and say, hey, your business owner that has this is not complying with fire code. And insurance companies are just looking for a reason to drop you and not cover you. Now, when that happens and a fire occurs,
Yeah.
who's on the hook there? I don't want that to happen. It's like,
Yeah, we want them to stay in business.
Yeah.
It's so we're here to help them.
Awesome. Cool. So since it's spring and we're moving towards summer, it's important to understand you guys are in fire prevention. It's
Right.
important to understand that we've not gotten enough moisture this year.
No, in fact, we've had a couple of storms recently where we had some snow, and I know looking on social media, people are saying, "Oh, this is going to be so much helpful for the summer and the fires," and it's like, well, we made a tiny dent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little bit.
I've already been out to investigate a couple fires. Kirk and I were on one fire that we actually had snow on the ground,
Yeah.
and it was still spreading to.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
It was still spreading to the forest. We've had people just recently conduct burns on slash piles, and they did not have a burn permit from the department or from the district. There was 26 to 30 mile an hour winds that day.
Wow.
The fire, this person did not have water supply, and the fire slopped over to the Forest Service. Now, you talk about expensive. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, I did the investigation on the district part of the,
Right.
we didn't take enforcement action. I don't know if the sheriff's department would or did in that incident. But when you talk about slopping over to the Forest Service, the feds don't care.
No, they don't.
When they come in and they conduct an investigation and it started on your property and it was negligent, you're on the hook to pay for all the fire crews, the hose, how
Yeah.
much damage you did to the land.
Yep.
And that runs. I mean, if you look at what the federal government's,
They got lots of calculators.
yeah, lots
Yeah.
of bean counters up there, and
Certainly do.
it adds up.
Well, and when we talk about burn permits, I know there's a lot of people out there still that don't
Get a
get a
burn
burn permit,
permit.
and they
Right.
and they don't cost anything. And with us, our district, you can actually go online, and down at the bottom of our homepage, timbermesafire.org, little link that takes you to the burn permit, tells you all the rules, and one of the biggest things is the way that we kind of notify the public is there's that phone number that you can call
Right.
that lets you know that is it okay to burn or not.
Right.
And now to change that every single day, because like right now in springtime, the wind will kick up and it dies down, and it's very difficult to manage that day by day. But if people will read their permit, one of the main things on there says if the winds are greater than 10 miles an hour, you need to shut it down.
Your flag is flapping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you see it
Don't
sticking
burn.
straight out,
I
That's
burned,
way
I
more
burned
than-
my property as well.
Yeah.
I have to get a permit.
Yep.
I have to follow the rules. I have to have a water supply. I mean, I try to do everything. I don't want to burn my neighbor's house down because I'm on the hook for that.
right.
So the one thing that it's going to be happening in the future here, and especially this year, we need to, and everybody needs to understand this. If you are burning and you do not have a burn permit, we are going to have the sheriff's office respond, and they're going to issue citations.
Yeah.
We have got to change the culture in this area, on this mountain,
Yes.
as far as reckless burning goes.
And that's not just visitors. That's
Everybody.
Yeah.
All one.
Right.
If I was to compare our area to any place, Paradise, California, is so similar to our area here, and economically, that area will not recover
Right.
in our lifetime. I love the White Mountains. I love our homes where we live here. It's just a wonderful place. But when that fire occurs, that wildland urban interface fire occurs, and this town burns down, we are tourism driven.
Right.
Right? Our economy is tourism driven. When that goes down, we won't recover.
Right.
And this is an all hands on deck attack from our community, our business leaders, our citizens, the fire department or the fire districts, everybody. We live in a great place. We live here because we want to live here, and for the reasons, the 4 seasons or whatever your reason for being here. Let's not lose that. And I'm working on something right now with fire prevention, and hopefully we're gonna here in the near future we can bring all of those private and public entities together, and we can come up with a good plan.
Awesome. Cool.
And well, and talking about that kind of stuff, my fear, and when I go and do some education in the public, my fear is not so much a fire starting on the outside coming into town. It's more so starting in town and spreading out, because we've got a lot of vegetation that's in and around homes, and we've got a lot of firefighters, but they're not all on duty every single day, 24/7. Right. We got to have that rotation, and something, a big conflagration happens, and we've got several homes on fire, we're going to be tapped out for resources.
Again, that goes back to fire prevention being the beginning.
Right.
When a homeowner or a business goes out and takes that proactive step to make sure that their property is cleaned up, that is fire prevention. Okay? The fire crews that are coming out on the fire trucks are not fire prevention, they are fire suppression.
Yeah, that's a reactive approach, not a proactive.
Right.
And we have a lot of things in the works. Working with Pinetop Fire, they've got the grants that allow thinning projects going on, and they're working those, and it bleeds over into our area as well. It's not just Pinetop Fire District area that they're doing these thinning projects. It's all throughout. We got the Fry project that's still going, and so there's a lot of activity going on, but we still need to keep moving forward. And the thing about it, it's vegetation, it grows.
Right. Okay, well, we'll get you guys to come in again, hopefully, and
absolutely,
one of you, and talk about these things and start drilling down on that and making sure people, are aware of what's going on in their areas and forest and burning and period.
So,
we should be putting some PSAs out here
awesome.
In the near future. I imagine we want to get a jump on this this season, because we are in a historically dry time.
Yeah.
And this year is shaping up to be a bad one.
Well, the one that's PSA that we're working on right now with one of our other guys is chains on trailers.
Yes.
We've already had roadside fires that I'm fairly confident.
Actually, I chased a guy down the other day. Actually, I just waved him over and like, no, and he's like, what? And I'm like, you're sparking. I am.
So you're going to see some, and I don't know if we're going to put it out as a series or just one or how, but we're going to keep those going throughout the spring and the summer. You're going to see different types of things that we can be doing to get that action.
Just so everybody knows, JD will not be a second Mrs. Dousfire at all. No. That's not happening. So there you go.
That's not going to happen.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And once again, it's Kirk Webb and JD Pepper with Timber Mesa Fire and Medical. Thanks. Hey, that's going to be it for this week's Arizona White Mountains Community Shout. Remember to be nice to each other out there, have fun, and be calm in traffic. I'm Birdman, and as I always say, if I don't see you around town, I'll catch you right here on the web. It's a wrap.